Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video on the Minecraft Modding with Fabric series. In this video, I'll be showing you how to create and run your first mod.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
So in this video alone, we're going to be creating our very first mod, running it inside of our IDE to test it, and then also running it externally within Minecraft itself, installed as a Fabric mod. Okay, so specifically what we're going to be doing first is download Java and IntelliJ. If you don't have it already, you need to get that. And then we're going to install the Minecraft plugin on IntelliJ. Then we're going to create a new project, a new Fabric project. Then we're going to configure that project so it has all of our mod information. And then finally, we're going to build and install the mod, okay? So you should learn a lot out of this episode, hopefully. So before we do that though, there's something that you need to know. So whenever it comes to creating a new mod, a new Fabric mod, there's generally speaking two ways to do it. There's an easier way and there's a harder way. So if you are familiar with IntelliJ IDEA, it's a IDE, Integrated Development Environment, for creating Java programs. And you can actually have plugins built into the IDE that do really cool things. And there's a really cool one for Minecraft development that you can use to create new mods, new Fabric mods, new Forge mods, and new Spigot plugins really easily, and more stuff. So this will be what we're doing in this episode so that we can do this really easily and really quickly. So I can show you the basics of how to get a project set up and how to run the mod and install it and all that fun stuff. The other way, which I will be showing you in the very next episode, will be to create the project sort of manually, not totally manually, but we're going to be downloading a sample project provided by Fabric off of GitHub, and then we're going to configure it. It's going to take more configuration, but we're going to configure it from the ground up and get everything working. And we're going to do the same exact thing we're doing in this episode, but a more extensive process though. So in this episode, I just want to keep it simple just because it's really nice, the plugin, and I want to show you guys how to get started. With that said, that's the introduction. Now let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing that you want to do is install Java. I'm assuming you have Java if you're actually watching this episode, because you should know how to program in Java, but if you don't have Java, make sure you get it. Just go to java.com and find the download for it. Download Java, it's a pretty simple process. I'm not going to go through it, but you can figure it out. And then in the past, you would download the Java development kit separately from this so that you can also develop in Java. But actually with the newer versions of IntelliJ IDEA, you can download the JDK and install it directly through the IDE. So it makes the process much easier for you. But if you're curious on how to do that all yourself, step by step, I have a video on that, how to install the Java development kit. I'll leave a link for that in the description below so you can check it out if you need help. The next thing that you want to do is install IntelliJ IDEA. I'll leave a link for this in the description below as well. This is a very, very popular, probably the most popular Java IDE nowadays that will allow you to code in Java, okay? So it has a lot of features like gradle integration. There's a lot of features in this IDE that I will never use myself. The other IDE that a lot of people like to use is Eclipse. I think that one used to be the most popular, but I'm pretty sure just because of how good IntelliJ is, this is now the most popular. So I recommend you get this one. It's actually free. There is an ultimate version that is paid, but if you're a student, you can get that for free as well. There's a lot of options for you, but just get the free version of IntelliJ at least, okay? Because it will allow you to do everything we're going to do in the series, but more. It's really, really nice. So just download that, go through the download process. It's a very, very simple process. And yeah. Okie dokie, so the next thing that we want to do is actually install the Minecraft development plugin on IntelliJ. So right here, I just have my IntelliJ open. It's open on a default. It's open on a random project right now, so don't worry about that. But once you get into IntelliJ, just go to File, go to the Settings menu, then go down to the Plugins part of the menu, then go to Marketplace, and then search for Minecraft. And the very first one should be called Minecraft Development, so click that one, install it. Once you install it, click Apply. It should ask you to restart, and then it'll pop back up, okay? Now, once you have that installed, you can begin making your Minecraft mod Fabric project. So go to File, New, Project, and you should see a screen like this. So it'll be on this one probably by default. Just create a new default Java project. But what we want to do is go down to the Minecraft generator. So this is where you can then use the menu to create a new Fabric mod project. So first of all, the project SDK, I want Java 17. That is now the default minimum version for development in Minecraft nowadays at the time of recording. So just click this, and if you don't have it, then make sure you click download JDK. That's what will allow you to download version 17, right? So that'll let you do that. If you already have Java 17, make sure you just select it from the list, okay? I think you can also use versions above just 17, but I'm just going to use 17 as the minimum right now. Anyway, so after that, you see there's a lot of options here: bucket, spigot, paper, sponge, forge, fabric, architecture, light loader, velocity, bungee cord, and waterfall. These are all different types of projects that you can create. but we want the fabric one, of course. So fabric mod, click next. And then now what you want to do is give it a group ID and an artifact ID. So for this, it's customary to put your website, but backwards. So for example, if you own the website google.com and you're a google.com developer, you may do com.google. And this would be like the base package for your project, right? But in our instance, we do not own Google, right? And let's say that I personally do not have a domain. I actually don't. So in this case, another common thing that you may do is me and then your name. So Cody Simpson, or just whatever your screen name is. So if you like to call yourself Illuminati, you do me.illuminati, right? So just put me dot and then whatever your screen name is. Make sure there's no spaces or anything like that. Just keep it simple, lowercases as well. Or if you own a domain, then put your domain backwards, okay? So for the artifact ID, this will simply be the name of your IntelliJ project that you're creating. So try and keep this one as simple as possible as well. You can use like dashes and stuff like that, but keep it simple, you know? So what I'll call this one is first dash mod, and you can put whatever you want for yours. Now for the version, that doesn't really matter. You can do 1.0, 1.0 snapshot, just leave it how it is. That's totally fine. Then click next. And this is where we can set all the fabric settings, okay? So you can give your mod a name. So mine is first mod. I will keep that how it is. You can change it if you want to. Then you can select the Minecraft version, so 1.19.3. Then we have the yarn version, loader version. It's all the max, like the latest right now, which is really nice. Environment, both. So you can basically have a client mod, a server mod, or both, right? Use mixins, decompile Minecraft, blah, blah, blah. So you don't really need to touch any of this unless you want to use a different version of Minecraft, for example, or a different version of Fabric. So if you want to develop a mod for, let's say, Minecraft 1.16, you can do that just by selecting it and going through that process, okay? This other stuff down here is a little more advanced. It's just specifying the base package and the class name for our mod. You don't really need to touch that at all if this is your first plugin, so don't worry about it. The thing that you do need to edit pretty much if you want to is the description, the authors, the website, and the repository. So the description is probably the most common one you want to change right off the bat. So this is just simply going to be a description for your mod. So this is our first mod. Woo! Cool, right? And then authors, you can put a list of authors, I guess. So let's put Cody Simpson. That's just me, obviously. And then for website, I'm going to put my channel, youtube.com/@CodySimpson. And this information will actually show up in the game when you have your mod installed, which we'll check out at the very end of this video, okay? Repository, we don't really care about that, so we're going to leave it blank, but you can put like a GitHub link or something if you want to, okay? So click next once you're done with all this. Boom. And then now we want to specify the actual project folder name and the project location. So what I'm going to do is choose where I want the project to be. So find it. So I have a Minecraft folder here. And inside of the Minecraft folder, I'm going to create a new folder for my project specifically called first mod. So click OK. Here it is. So select that, click OK. And now just make sure this is synced up with each other. So what this means is that our project name is first mod, and the project files will be inside of the first mod folder within the Minecraft folder, and then within these folders here. Okay, pretty simple. But once we're done with that, we can now click create. All right, so this is going to start doing its thing. It's going to load all the files for your project and generate them for you. You may see this at the bottom right, but I recommend not clicking it because it might conflict with the stuff that's already happening. I've had this issue where if I click it, it sort of messes up the process. So I recommend not clicking it, and it should work perfectly fine still. So just give it a minute to load everything. It's going to take a couple minutes also depending on the speed of your computer. So let it do its thing, come back, and we'll see what happens. Okay, so everything has been finished on the side of Gradle. So Gradle is the thing that builds your project for you. It also does all the generation at the very beginning. It's essentially the dependency manager. It does all the stuff for you pretty much. And so this is a Gradle project, but it's also a Java project. But anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got here so far, because it's very overwhelming when you first start. There's a lot of different parts and a lot of different files and stuff like that. So first what we want to do is go to the left here and open this up. This is our file structure. And so if you look in the source folder, this is where we can start to look at the source code. So go to source and then go to main, Java, and this is where all the Java code is, right? So the first thing that we notice is that we have a first mod class. This class you can think of as your main mod class. So this is where everything sort of starts up and is initialized. That's why it's called the mod initializer. So whenever you have a mod, you need an initializer, and that initializer must have a onInitialize method overridden. And whatever is inside of here, whatever code is inside of this method will be run whenever the mod actually starts up and starts running, okay? So we'll take a look at that in a second, but that's what that will do so far. And then we also see that we have a client folder with a first mod client class inside of it. So this is if you want specifically a client mod, this is where you can define any logic for that. We're not going to worry about that distinction at the moment, so we don't really need to have that open, okay? So then we have a resources folder. This is alongside the Java folder. Resources folder is where you usually have your assets, like any pictures or sounds or anything like that that you bring into the project for your mod. You also have some configuration stuff here. So if we open up this file here, we can see that there's a bunch of different configuration options, which we will check out and change in a second. So for now, don't worry about it. The next thing that we have is the test part of this project. So this is just for basically testing your mod, but we're not going to really worry about that at all. So let's just go ahead and remove it. You don't need to worry about that, okay? And this one as well. We don't really need that as well. Boom. Pretty much everything else is like just random stuff that you don't really need to worry about at this point in your development. But one of the important ones is the gradle.properties file. This is where you can find and change any of the configuration stuff for the Fabric versions that are generated by Gradle and given to you. So you have the Minecraft version itself, you have the yarn mappings version, the loader version, this is the Fabric loader version, the mod version, the Maven group for your mod, and the archives base name. So because we are using the Minecraft development plugin within IntelliJ, this was all given to us, which is very nice, and all configured for us, which is also very, very nice. So you're lucky that you don't have to do this all yourself. In the next episode, we'll have to do this all ourselves, okay? So yeah, but this is why the plugin is so awesome. One of the reasons, at least. And then up here, we have some other stuff like the run folder, Gradle folder, build folder, IDEA for your IntelliJ settings, and then the .gradle folder. So you can ignore all that pretty much. The next thing here on the right is the Gradle panel. This may or may not be open for you, so if you want to access that, it's over here on the right. Okay. If for some reason you don't have your IDE looking like this, it should still be here on the right, or on the side or something like that. It'll be available to you no matter what version of IntelliJ you have, okay? So inside of here, this is where you can find all the Gradle stuff for running different Gradle tasks. So if you go to Fabric here, for example, you have the generate sources Fabric task. So this will generate the Minecraft, essentially the decompiled Minecraft source code for you to look at, which has already been done for us behind the scenes by the Minecraft development plugin. So we don't have to worry about that either, okay? So a lot has been said, so let's go ahead and actually start, adding some stuff. So if we go back to our first mod class here, let's make it so that whenever our mod is initialized, it prints something out to the console so that we know it works. So you could simply do sout and just do hello fabric world if you want to, but it's actually more proper to use a logger, and there's actually a logger built into this application. So you can do private static final logger, and then what we're going to do is do logger factory dot get logger. Boop. And here you basically pass in the identifier for your logger, and this is recommended to be your mod ID. A mod ID is essentially a unique ID or a name for your mod that can uniquely identify it from other mods out there. Because if you think about it, someone could potentially have hundreds of mods on their computer, so you want to give your mod a unique ID so it's actually different from the other mods, and there's no name conflicts or anything like that, okay? So whenever you have an item, for example, defined or created in your mod, someone else may have the same item created in their mod, and if they have different IDs, then it's fine. They can exist in the same game but without conflicts as long as their mod IDs are different. It's a way of identifying your mod, to put it simply. And when you're defining a mod ID for your mod, you can be pretty much whatever you want, except that it has to be letters, numbers, dashes, or underscores. You want to try and keep it as simple as possible, just like we did when we were creating the project. So I'm going to set mine to first-mod. So this is now the official mod ID of my mod. And then we can go ahead and import this logger thingy on the left here. So now that we've chosen first-mod as our mod ID for our project, we have to keep that consistent throughout the entire project, because we're going to be using that mod ID everywhere to identify stuff like items, for example, like I said. So if we go back to fabric.mod.json, this is what that is, right? The ID field corresponds to the mod ID, which is first-mod. And this was actually set for you by the Minecraft development plugin, just based upon the project name that you gave it at the beginning. So that is set for you. Just make sure it's the same as the one that you provide here. Keep them consistent always, okay? Anyway, so once we have this logger created, now we can use it. So we can do logger.info, and we can say something like first mod has started up. This is the best mod in the world. Okay, so now hopefully if everything is configured successfully and correctly, whenever we start up our game with our mod, it should print this out to the console, okay? And we'll take a look at that in a second. And we're actually going to make this private modifier here public so that we can access the logger wherever we want within our entire project, so that we can do logging anywhere. So whenever you're logging stuff, sometimes you're not going to be logging information, you're going to be logging errors or other stuff like that, or warnings maybe. So you can do logger dot, and there's other ones like info, or like we already saw, error, debug for debugging messages, warn. So that's just so you know that there's different ways to log stuff within your application, okay? But for now, you can think of this as a hello world application. So all we're going to be doing is logging some information, this message here. So now this brings us to the question of how do we actually test this mod? Do we have to compile it and then put it into our mods folder and then start up our game and all that crazy stuff? The answer is no, because something really cool about the setup that we have here is that we can actually run Minecraft within our IDE, which is freaking insane, but let me show you how. So if we go up here, then go to edit configurations, then go to application and select either client or server. We just want to test it on our Minecraft client, which is just the normal game, right? So select that, click apply, click OK, and then now it has a selection up here, so just click run. And what this will do as soon as I run it is it will actually start up a Minecraft game for us to test our mod with, which is just mind-blowing in my opinion that you can do that. And this will enable us to really easily test our mod without having to do a bunch of setup and, you know, copying and pasting files and all that stuff, okay? So just click this. So now it's going to build your mod and then do a bunch of stuff behind the scenes. So here we got this opened up automatically. This is our output for this process here. So we should see any output about just anything that's happening, especially our mod. So it's still doing stuff. It's building the optimized data fixer. And this is normal here. You're going to get an error pretty much every time. It's going to say failed to verify authentication 401. This is because you're not actually logging in as a Minecraft user. You're logging on an offline account named player135 just to test out your mod, okay? But now we can see that this has popped up, our game, and we can go to single player, make a new world real quick, and we can test out our mod. But obviously our mod does not actually have anything. There's nothing in game that we've created for our mod, so it wouldn't look any different from a normal Minecraft game. So we can go up here, just scroll up, and we can try and find where our mod was initialized, which is right here. We get first dash mod, which is our mod ID. We specified that here with the logger when we created the logger. And then we have first mod has started up. This is the best mod in the world. So it actually printed out what we told it to using the logger and the onInitialize method. And this all makes perfect sense, right? Because this is where everything was first started up. So you would expect it to be at the very beginning where this message is. So there you go. This is our very first mod that we've just created very easily. So now in this part of the video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to build your mod into a jar file that you can then install with your other mods on your computer. If you want, you can even give the jar file to your friends or other people to actually use your mod as well. So to do that, all we need to do is go to Gradle here again, close Fabric, then go to Build, then click Build. You can double click it or you can right click and do Run First Mod and then Build. So it's going to do that task for you. It's going to build your mod now into a jar file, which that was pretty fast. It did it already. So once that is done, you go to build, then you go to libs, and here you go. Here's your jar file. So right click it, do open in Explorer, and now you can copy the file and do whatever you want with it. So we're going to copy this now, and we're going to go to our mods folder. So I'm going to click Windows, Run, App Data, Minecraft. And if you don't know what I'm doing right now, just watch the last episode where I showed you how to install mods on your computer. So then go to mods, and then paste it here. And now hopefully if everything is working, whenever we start up our Minecraft game using the Fabric loader, it should have our mod, okay? So go to Minecraft, and here we go. Our game has started up, so now we can go to mods, because we have the mod menu mod. And here we go, we see my first mod. So our mod is actually installed correctly, and you can see all the information here. So you see the name, so first mod, then we have v1.0-snapshot, which we set. Then if you had a website configured at the beginning, you can click website, and it would actually be there. I removed mine just because I had to fix something, so it won't be there for me. But for you, it should be there if you did specify one. I had my channel link before. But also, if you had an icon, it would show up here as well. And then you have the description. So my first mod, woo! Okay, guys, that is it for this episode. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned a lot. Again, we created our very first mod using the Minecraft development plugin on IntelliJ. We configured that mod. We added our first logger and logged something as the mod started up. We saw how to actually start the mod within IntelliJ as well. And then finally, we built the mod into a jar file and installed it and then ran it ourselves with Minecraft. So hopefully you learned how to do some stuff. And in the next episode, like I said, we're going to be doing all of this again, but from scratch using a sample project. Even though it's a sample project, it will require a lot more configuration. So stay tuned for that, and thank you for watching, and see you next time. Peace. Alright, so that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. In the description below, I'll leave a link to the code for this episode so you can check it out. You can bookmark it, come back to it later. If you forget any concepts or you just want to review the concepts I taught in this video, I'll mark everything up with comments so you can come back and read the code without having to rewatch the video, although your reviews are greatly appreciated. So yeah, I'll leave a link for that in the description below, so make sure to check it out. And another thing is I'll leave a link to our Discord server. It's a big community for programmers. You can ask for help on your programming projects if you're stuck on something, or maybe you can get some new friends. If you don't have any friends, there's lots of people here. It's growing really fast. You can find lots of people who are passionate about the same things as you. For example, if you like Minecraft Spigot development, you can find lots of people who like that. If you like C++, if you like Java, if you like web development, it's a really, really big programming community. So feel free to join. There's a link for that in the description below. And the last thing I want to tell you is that if you want to support this channel, you can click the join button below this video, and you can join this channel as a member for as low as 99 cents a month, and you can cancel at any time. You get some cool perks like early access to all of my new videos, a cool rank on my Discord server like you see right here on the side, YouTube members, and also you get to see yourself on the screen like you see right now. So if that sounds cool to you, feel free to join. If you don't want to, that's fine. If you can't, that's okay too. I really just appreciate you watching the video anyway. And thank you. Thanks a lot. And that's it. So if you like this video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. And peace.